often said that having kids is the best thing that can happen to you, but new research has found that 1 in 7 parents regret having their kids. And I'm looking at Carol's eyebrows going up and down and up and down.
She's loving being Mrs. Righty Pants today.
No.
I told you.
No. Listen, what I want to say is that I do know women who say, right, and this is really, really important, that they wouldn't change anything for the world. They've had their kids, they love their kids, they love the bones of their children, they don't want to change it. But if they had their time again, they might not have had them. They would do it. One of them says that I'd do it your way. And I do have quite a lot of friends who are constantly trying to make me have children because they want me to ruin my life as well. And I'm sorry, but I can't do it now. It's too late. But, I mean, I wouldn't have done it anyway. I never wanted them, as you know.
And do you think it would have ruined your life?
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'll never know, will I? But
you've had a great life. You've enjoyed life.
I've had a great life, and I'm still.
Hang on, it sounds like it's over.
No, I mean, without kids, she's had a great life without kids, and continues to.
And it's what you choose, isn't it? So I don't blame. The question is kind of wrong. Do you regret having your children? No one regrets having their children, but they might regret not having a life without them. That's all.
No, it's funny when I decided belatedly that I really wanted kids, which didn't hit me till I was 36. So I had this conversation with my mum, a sit down, and she had totally resigned herself to me not having kids because my brother had 2 lovely children. She had a grandchildren. She was set, and she didn't think I would ever have kids. And so took her for coffee, and I said, Mum, I think actually I really would like to have children. And her face kind of fell. And I thought, this is not the reaction I'm looking for. I thought this would be a beautiful moment. And I said, well, what would your life be like without me and Eric? And she went, it'd have been fine.
She was honest.
I wanted her to start weeping at that moment.
You've taken that personally.
And, you know, she said exactly what you said, Carol. You know, I love you to bits, but my life would have been fine.
Well, my mum I grew up with my mum saying, well, motherhood is waking up every morning and saying, oh, please, God, not another day. But, I mean, I knew she loved me, but she also said having children was about a compromise because she was getting married. But I don't think she necessarily had this urge to have children. And I'm really mindful with my girls. When they were smaller, I would do that thing. Or when you're a mum and when you have... I thought, well, no, because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Maybe they won't want children. Maybe they won't be able to have children. And we've got to stop selling this to girls as this is the ultimate. This is the be-all.
There's a lot of pressure on
I say to them now, if you have
from
kids...
other women, for women to have kids. So they look at you weird if you don't have them.
I think the messaging in society is this is the way for women to get fulfilment and this is women's plan. And that's not fair and that's not true.
No.
But I will say my journey with motherhood is going to make you feel a little bit sick in your mouths. This is going to sound so sickly, but for me, you know, I actually wrote it off for lots of different reasons. You know, I actually didn't want a relationship with a man for a number of years, so I knew I wouldn't really have children. Then I had some medical reasons that meant I might not have the fertility to get pregnant. And actually, I made peace with this. You know, I had a career that I was really invested in and I love, and I was fine about that. And then actually when I met Richie, my husband, I told him this early on that I couldn't have kids and he was fine about it too, as lots of people are. You know, it's normal to not necessarily want that. And then I went away to Tanzania, and whilst I was away, I was feeling really sick, right? And we were staying in sort of really basic accommodation. We were washing with buckets and I was smoking and drinking in the evenings and I was throwing up every day. And when I came back, I found out I was pregnant with my first child.
Wow.
And for me, it was overwhelming because I just didn't think it would happen. I wasn't going to try and explore another avenue to make it happen. So I am that really annoying mum that every day I look at both of my children and think, what a blessing, what a gift. I don't regret anything and they are my everything.
Right, I feel a little bit sick in my mouth.
I could hear it.
No, I don't. It's lovely, actually.
They are my everything.
I think
you know,
my children as a blessing, but I think we've got to get to a place where we can regularly say, my God, it's a nightmare as well.
Yeah.
And they don't sometimes go, what would my life be like if I wasn't constantly worrying? Because that's the thing. When they're teens, you feel like you worry all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
Kay?
It is the way, it's the non-stop worry. Do you know what? I
Worry
always
is
used to say to my
awful.
friends, well, I don't know why having kids, because you know what happens, don't you? They get to 18, they bleed you dry, and they walk off and they don't even say thanks.
Well,
and that's it. They do.
Like
They
what
do.
you did.
Yeah, that's her. She's describing
My
herself.
mum couldn't wait for us to leave. When we all moved out of her house, she got a one-bedroom bungalow so that we wouldn't go back. I'm not joking. That's 100% true.
And I
don't blame her.
I want my daughters to be my best friends when I get older. You know, I'm
Yeah.
hoping for this amazing friendship that we'll see.
I
won't
suppose,
we?
but we also have to remember the flip side of it is always that there'll be people watching this, women and men, who would love to have children, can't have children, and they'll find this a difficult conversation to
Yes,
listen
absolutely,
to, won't they?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
which
But
is-
it doesn't distract from the fact that it's really important that we carry on talking about the fact that parenting isn't the be-all and end-all. Because sometimes when people struggle with it, they feel such a sense of,
I know.
to be able to... It's OK to be able to say sometimes, do you know what? It's not just all hearts and
But the
flowers.
other thing is just talking from particularly a woman's perspective, you know, when you were saying that about your mum, saying she wakes up every morning, it's not just the kids, it's the circumstances in which you have the kids. So, I mean, if you are either on your own or your partner isn't particularly helpful or you're really struggling for cash or you're having to work God knows what hours and different shifts, then everything in life becomes a struggle, and caring and loving
Also,
for these
sometimes
kids.
people don't automatically fall in love with their children and they don't connect with their child or they don't like their child. You know, it's the final true taboo that anyone could ever say that and say, I'm not sure I love this baby of mine.
I find that hard to consider.
Well, yeah, but you've got to, because for some people, that's the truth and they have to carry that guilt all their life. Imagine that. And it's the worst thing that you could possibly ever say.
She always brings things down, Kaye.
Yeah.
She just brings things
feel-
down. She just goes too far. Even Carol's shocked by that one.
Yeah,
I actually spoke to a woman years ago that felt like that. She said, I don't love or like my child.
But I think
And
it's the things
she's-
that go along with it. If motherhood
Yeah.
is repressing, if you've lost identity, if you're not
Yeah.
able to work, and you know, so it's not necessarily that child. It's
Yeah.
the connotations of the whole domestic
Exactly.
setup. Like
Yeah.
you said, if you're not supported by your partner.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, well, I mean, I certainly don't regret having my kids. And goodness, my mum didn't. She told me quite frankly, you know, you're over. It's the grandchildren. My goodness, she absolutely adored them. And I suppose there's also something about them keeping you in the real world for me. I mean, you know, Carol, you've gone a bit old woman, haven't you? Whereas I'm still very much down with the kids. And stuff.
Are you serious?